celebrate me getting 10,000 subscribers here on YouTube, I have made these lovely party hats and I'm sharing them in a tutorial with you today. But before we get to that, let's see the bloopers.
Hi!
Hi, Munchkin! Paper party pat. It's really good. Trixie, stop! Those birds are loud! Hi crafty people, and welcome to a special video on my channel celebrating my 10,000 subscriber mark. Hooray! Today I'm teaching you how to make these adorable reusable party hats that look like this. They are made out of felt, or you can use other types of stiff fabric as well, and they have this ribbon on the bottom so that they're nice and size adjustable. And these are a great alternative to the traditional paper party hats like this, which will eventually get damaged and bent and look really dodgy and have to get thrown away. These ones here, being reusable, they are so much more sustainable. You can make a set for your family and bring them out for every party if you wanted to. If this happens to be the first time on my channel, then welcome. My name is Marie and this channel is all about motivating mums to make and mend. I share all sorts of sewing projects on here, and actually this project that I'm sharing today about making some party hats could be a no-sew version. I'm also going to show you how you can make the exact same thing using hot glue. The reason that we're making party hats today is because I have reached 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. This is a big milestone for me and I'm very excited to have reached it. It was something I had always dreamed to get to, but was never really sure if it would be something I would actually accomplish. So yay! 10,000 subscribers! I'm going to share a little bit more about my journey to get to this place and about my favorite videos I've made or any of those kind of things. I'll share a few little snippets of that sort of information as we go about this tutorial making these party hats. A special thank you to my sister Teresa, who gave me the idea to make these party hats. So thank you. It is a fun way to get to celebrate getting to this milestone. A special thank you to all of you who are subscribed to my channel. I do appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed yet, don't worry, it's not too late. Just head down there and click the red subscribe button so that you can be subscribed and YouTube knows to send you more of my content. This tutorial is going to be a really easy and fun one, so I hope you're excited for it. And with all of that being said, let's get making.
My mum makes party hats.
This is what it looks like here. I have used this really nice felt here. It's felt on the inside with glitter on the outside, and I bought this from Spotlight. I'll put a link in the description box to this exact felt that I have got, and you might be able to get some for yourself as well, or you could probably find some at your local craft shop if you live in a different country. If you don't have this sort of felt though, the really thick felt, you could also use the foam that's about this same thickness. That would hold its shape really well. Or you could just use regular fabric and just put some really thick iron-on interfacing into the middle of it so that it holds its shape better. If you are making it with fabric with iron-on interfacing in it, you are going to need to hem this raw edge so that your fabric doesn't fray. But other than that, the steps will be exactly the same. So let's start by going through all of the things you're going to need to make this project. To make these party hats, you are going to need your fabric. You're going to need a ribbon to tie under your chin, some threads that are going to match, or a hot glue gun. And you're also going to need some fabric scissors, a pen to write on, and the template that we're using today. I use this paper party hat here to pattern out a template like this based on this one. And I will leave a link in the description box to this template here. I'll scan it in so that you can download it for free from my Google Drive. To start these party hats, we're going to take our template and trace it onto our felt fabric, and then we're able to cut each of those party hat shapes out. I bought 30 centimeters of each of my pieces of felt, and I was able to fit 5 of my templates along the width of that piece of fabric. If I'd have bought the fabric at 40 centimeters, I would have been able to fit an extra 2 on there just for that extra 10 centimeters. So if I were to do this again, I would buy 40 centimeters or half of a yard so that you're able to fit, what would that be? 7 on there. So while I cut these out, I thought I would talk to you a little bit about my YouTube journey so far, and I hope that you'll still listen even though it's not part of the tutorial. So I started my YouTube channel in May of 2020, and I'm sure you can all imagine what type of world we were going through back then. I'm sure we all remember. And it was just a great way for me to be able to have a bit of a creative outlet, to share my sewing and to just have a bit of fun. Since then, I've learned so much about video editing, about lighting, my lighting setup here, about how to use my camera to the best settings, and even how to edit my videos more efficiently. The birds be obnoxious today. I've made about 65 videos at this point, which is actually quite a lot of videos. I'm really proud of all of the videos that I've made. It's also really great to look back on our videos and see when our kids were so little and to see how much they've grown and changed. This channel was recorded when we did our renovations, going through lockdown, Christmases, me tearing the ligaments in my ankle, having an injured dog, all sorts of birthdays and family life events. So there's really been a lot that I can enjoy looking back on this channel. The video of mine that has the most views is still my 10 must make baby projects video. That still is getting heaps of views. At this point it's up to about 130,000 views, so that's certainly my best performing video. And then after that are a lot of my other projects for babies as well, especially my taggy toy video, the projects I recommend you don't make, and a whole bunch of other projects that are especially for babies. The videos that I made about making sun hats also seem pretty popular. I'm going to link all of the videos that I mentioned down in the description box if any of these are videos you haven't seen but would be interested in watching later. For now, I'm going to cut the rest of these off camera and then we're going to move on to sewing them on our sewing machine. So we're going to take each of our cone shapes and we're going to fold them so that they have the right sides together, and we're going to sew along that straight line. So I'm starting at the tip of it, it doesn't really matter, and I'm sewing a straight line down the edge. I'm using a normal straight stitch and I'm also sewing it with a very narrow seam allowance. You could sew it with 1/8 of an inch or 1/2 centimeter, something like that. It doesn't need to be very big because this felt's not going to fray, it's not going to cause any issues, and you don't want a bunch of bulky seam under your hat. Repeat that step on each of the hats that you're making, or if you're making this with hot glue, you can do the exact same thing, just hot gluing down the edge of your fabric to stick it together. The next step is to just snip off the top of each of your hats there, just beyond the stitching, but don't actually cut through your stitching, otherwise you'll end up, the whole thing will come unraveled. So I'm just cutting off that very tip at the top there, just like that, and that way when it's turned in the right way, there won't be so much bulk under that point part. Then comes the only part that is somewhat tricky, which is turning them back out the right way again. So because they are quite stiff, they are a little bit hard to turn out at the top point there. So I've got a pen here and I'm using that to help push out the top part of the hat to make it as tall as possible. So once it's through the whole way like that, your hat shape will look like this. So I'm going to do the same thing on each of the hats, turning them out the right way. And while I'm doing that, I just want to say thank you to a few of the people who have helped me with my YouTube channel. First and foremost, I definitely want to thank my husband Lane. He has been the biggest supporter of my YouTube channel, and I certainly could not have done this without him for sure. He was the one who set me up with my editing software, teaching me how it works, teaching me how to use Photoshop and all those things, although I must say I have outstripped his skills now, just saying. He bought me my lighting setup as a Christmas present. He upgraded my camera when my old one broke because I accidentally dropped it, and all sorts of things that he has supported practically like that too. He also does a lot of the behind the scenes work that you wouldn't see on this channel, like taking photos and videos for me. He is also the one who does a lot of research on different analytics and different search engine stuff that I need to know. He takes over with my emails when I end up getting behind. At the moment, he's taken our two littlest kids out to the playground so that I'm able to film this. He's just a really great support and I am so blessed and lucky to have him. I also want to thank my kids who are always such good sports when I'm asking them to try on stuff for videos or for me to measure them and all sorts of things like that. They enjoy being in my videos. They specifically enjoy looking back on the old videos we've made and seeing how cute they were. They're like the bloopers mostly on my videos, which I always start my video with. Isabel often asks to go back and watch this blooper here.
So I have a donut or sprinkles.
I don't have a donut with sprinkles to give you. Which is fair because she is mighty cute in that video. But usually they just want to watch the bloopers and then they're done with the video, which is fine. The other person that I really do need to thank is my mum. My mum taught me how to sew from a really young age, and I have a lot of fond memories of sewing with my mum from my childhood, both sewing clothes and different items on her sewing machine and also learning how to cross stitch, which if you're not on Instagram you might not know that my mum is a prize-winning cross stitcher. My mum is an excellent cross stitcher and sewer in general, and I've been very lucky to learn the skills that I know from her. So with all of those thank yous out of the way, we're going to move on to the next step of making these hats, and that is to cut out our ribbon ready to attach that on as well. You're going to need about 50 centimeters of ribbon, which is 19 inches or about half a yard-ish. It makes for a very, very long ribbon tie, so you can certainly shorten it if you'd like to, but I probably wouldn't go any longer than that. You'll obviously need 2 pieces of ribbon for each of the hats you're creating, and once you've cut all of them out, we're going to attach them on the sides of the hat. To find the exact sides of the hat, what I'm doing is folding the hat in half using the side seam as a guide. So this would be the very back of the hat, and this would be the very front of the hat. And then I'm pushing those 2 points together, and where the sides come, they are my side points. So I'm going to mark there and here. That is where I'm going to attach the ribbon on those 2 side points. So I'm going to do the same for all of them. Again, folding it in half to find the front, matching the front to the back, and then marking where the sides are. If you're sewing your ribbon on, then you'll need to fold the edge of it over a couple of times so that it doesn't fray. And then I'm sewing 2 rows of stitches, one at the very base of the hat and one further up where the fold of that fabric is, so that I can attach the ribbon securely in place. Also, you might be able to tell that I'm not actually shifting the hat in order to sew the second row of stitching along the ribbon. Instead, I'm shifting my needle over so that I can keep the presser foot exactly in the same position and not have to fiddle around with moving the hat. If you're doing the hot glue version, you'll need to do the exact same thing. You're going to fold the end of your ribbon over first, and you're going to hot glue the ribbon to itself before you then hot glue the ribbon to the sides of your hat. Do you know what I'm now realizing is that if you'd have sewn the ribbons on first before you sewed this seam, that would have been a lot easier, because now I'm sewing the ribbons on like this, and then this bit is, well, it's not too bad being in the way, but it would have been easier if the hat was flat. So if you haven't started the process of making them yet and you plan to, maybe sew the ribbons on first. I'll put a little marking on the template that I put up online for you to use. I'll put a little mark where the ribbons have to go. Sew the ribbons on first like this, then sew the side seam on the hat, and it'll be a lot easier for you. You're welcome. So I have the 2 little ones back from the playground now, so they're going to watch what I'm doing. I'm just snipping off the threads, and then we'll be ready to melt the bottom of the ribbons as well to make sure that they don't fray. So while I'm just cutting off these ribbons, I thought I would talk to you a bit about what I see going forward as the future of my channel. I do still want to keep making YouTube videos and sharing this content with you for free. I love getting to see the things that you guys make through my tutorials when you send it to me on Instagram. So if you're not following me over there, you can do so, and I would love to connect with you over there. I would like to work with a few more brands in the upcoming year. It is a good way to bring in a bit more income. I do get paid for the ads that people watch on my YouTube channel, but it's not the most pay considering the amount of work I do put into this channel. Oh no. I do appreciate when brands are willing to sponsor me as well, so that I am able to financially support my family through this hobby of mine. All right. The very last step that we're doing on these party hats is to finish off the end of our ribbon, which I'm using a match to just melt the bottom of the ribbon so that they don't fray. You could do it this way. You could add some nail polish, clear nail polish on the end of them. That's what my mum always used to do with ribbons when I was growing up, so that they don't fray. Or you could fold them over and sew the ends just to make sure that they don't fray as you are using them. If you are doing this with a match, you don't need to actually set the ribbon on fire, although I've accidentally done that before. You're just melting it with the heat that's coming off from the flame. So you're holding the ribbon slightly above the flame and letting the heat melt the edge of the ribbon. So our party hats are now all complete and ready to wear. You just need to tie them up in a bow under your chin, and I'll show you some footage here of my family wearing them.
Yay! Hooray! Mum?
Yes?
See me how to cut.
Don't.
Okay.
Are you going to dance too then?
Mum. Whoa, sorry.
That's okay.
The face there.
Thank you so much for watching this video and learning how to make party hats, and hearing me talk about my YouTube journey so far up to this point of having 10,000 subscribers. If you yourself are not subscribed yet, then click the subscribe button down below. I really would appreciate it. And you can also follow me over on Instagram if you want to see what I'm up to during the week. I look forward to making a lot more content like this for you in the future, and until next time, go get creative, and I'll see you later.